Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Terry and this is the Yarnjoy podcast, episode number 23. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new subscribers. So glad you decided to come along and watch my weekly progress on my projects. I love sharing all my yarny things with all the friends that I'm making on YouTube. Today I have some finished objects and works in progress and a couple of shout outs, and we'll see what else we can do. So for my first finished object, if you've been following along with my videos, I have been working on the Lion brand Down on the Farm Playmat. Well, I finished it and so I'm excited to show it to you today. Okay, so let me show it to you. Here it is. I think from last week I showed you that I had this patch right here and I had used a green variegated yarn by Red Heart Super Saver, yes. And it is a, I think it's called Tones of Green or Shades of Green or something like that. Anyway, I just had a flat piece that I had made with half double crochets and stitched on there, and it just seemed like it just needed more dimension, I guess, to it. So I took the yarn and I cut it in little strips, pieces, and I attached it latch hook style here, so then that way you would have some texture to the little crop. It may be extra bushy, I'm not sure, but it's kind of fun to play with here, feel of it. Anyway, and then I did stitch on the barn. And like I was telling you before, that since the barn door is open, I was wanting to find something in there so when you open the barn door there'd be something to look at. So I did an applique of a cow right here, and I stitched him on there, and then I felt like, well, there's more room for something, and so I found this applique that I did of the horse and I stitched that on there. I had a hard time finding an applique about the right size for a horse, so this one actually, of a horse that was the right size to fit in the barn, but this one actually is it was a zebra applique by Repeat Crafter Me, and I just kind of altered it with the colors, and I put a little bridle across the nose there to make it a horse. So there's the barn, and let's see, I think that was it, and I have everything stitched on. Okay, and then I know you saw before, but the little things that fit in there is there's a tractor and a sheep and a duck and a pig. And the only thing I did do the drawstring, because there's loops around the outer edges, and I did do a drawstring here to pull it, cinch it up into like a drawstring bag. But the only thing about it is when you cinch it up, and then when you're opening it up like for a child to play with it, it's very difficult to get it all stretched out. It takes you a while to get it all stretched out. Flat, so it will lay flat for the child to play on, and I really think that probably would be frustrating to a child to try to do that, and so I think I may just take this drawstring out, and it may be better to have it somewhere where you could just like roll it up or something. I'm not sure. It just seems like it would be very frustrating to have it, to try to stretch it out, like I said, for the child to play with, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work. But anyway, it's finished, so I'm happy that I've got it done and I can move on to some other things. Okay, so my next finished object is just a little small quick project. I know these type of projects, items have been around for quite a while, and it always seems like I'm one of the last ones to try things, seems like, but I made a pair of boot cuffs. This is a free pattern on Craftsy, actually, and there may be a link to it on Ravelry. I'll look it up and see, but it's just a basic boot cuff pattern with a shell crescent border, and the only thing I did differently is it just seemed like the shells were they didn't stand out very much. So what I did is I went back and I went over it with slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, like that, repeat all the way around on every stitch around to make the scallops kind of stand out a little more, I think. Anyway, I did do both of them. So I got that done. That just took me just a little while to do. Okay, and see what else. Oh, okay. And you know, if you've been along with me on my videos, you know that I've got little balls of leftover yarn that I've been trying to think of things to use them up to make, you know. And I found this pattern, and it's in Ravelry, and it's by Elizabeth Pardue, and it's just a very simple pattern, and it's called the Stripey Hanging Basket. And I made one with my little balls of leftover yarn that I have. So here it is. And all I did is, well, I started at the bottom, and when I first started out, I just used the little tiny balls that I had, and as soon as I ran out, I would just grab another one and start another one. And so I did that, and then of course when I got about halfway or more up, then I had to start pulling out my little larger size balls. And so I would just kind of stagger where I would stop it and start another one and grab another color. And I really enjoyed doing this. It was just, you know, something you can just, oh, let's see what color I can put next. And I just added it. And so, and then I put this hanging loop at the top. May alter this. I'll talk to you about that now. So what I did is I made this, and I have inside, I have my fabric, fat quarter fabric. I have a couple of drawers that are full of fabric, and I really need to get it more organized. And so I was thinking that I could use this to hang. As you see back here behind me, I have a pegboard that my dear husband put up for me, and I have another one over there up on the wall, and I have hooks there, and I put my project bags and with works in progress and different things in it. And so I was thinking that I could hang it on the pegboard. And so I have the one hanging loop, which is what the pattern had, but since this fabric is either that or I have too much in it, I don't know, but I was thinking that what I might do is put more than one loop, you know, because since it's got a pegboard, I can put 2 hooks, you know, close together, and then hook it to give it a little bit more stability. Anyway, I enjoyed working on it. It was a very good scrappy project, I think. You can make it any size you want to. It starts with a circle at the bottom, and then you go to a certain diameter and then start going up. And so really it was fun to put together. I may start another one and maybe make one a little smaller size and put some of my other sewing things in there. So that was my 3rd finished object. And my 4th finished object, if you've been following me along, which I hope you have, you know that I've been doing the 365 days of grannies that Yarn Utopia Nadia had on YouTube. Actually, it was last year. She released a video each day with a different granny square variation. And so I've been going through there. Sorry, my southernness came through. I've been going through there and with my doing the squares, and I've almost, I think, got to where I have enough squares to put together or complete my first blanket, and then I will continue on because there's 365 of them, and until I have enough for another blanket and put those together. And so anyway, so this week I wanted to go ahead and get my next row done on my blankets, because as you can see, I've been putting them together following join as you go flat braid method. And let me spread out my smooth out the flower down there. There's one that's 3-dimensional there. See the sunflower square right there, and the petals get kind of wonky. Anyway, so here it is. I've been bordering with black to set off the colors, and then I've been putting it together with a flat braid join. And I haven't added any more to it this week. This is the same as what I showed you last week. I wanted to get another whole complete row done, and so that's what I'm going to show you now. I've done squares 30 to 35, and so I'll show you those. This is number 30 right there, and then this is number 31, and then I have number 32. This one was fun to make. It's lots of puff stitches, so it feels really nice. 33. I think the way she did it, the flower here had 2 rows of puff stitch petals, as you can see. And I decided to do the first round in one color and then do the outer round in a different color. And this one was really interesting. It was kind of it's a woven type effect, and you have to do all the little strips first, and then you put, as you do the outer round, you're putting them together. So it was pretty fun. And I picked 7 colors for this blanket set, I guess you say, all Caron Simply Soft. And so I just been alternating the colors, and since this one had 6 different well, the main color and then all these different strips, it actually used up 6 of the 7 that I had picked out for the blanket. And then my last one, number 35, is this one. So my blanket, I've been doing 7 squares wide, and then so now this gives me 7 rows by 5 rows, and so it's still a little on, well, it's very rectangular, as you can tell, and so I think what I'm going to do, since I still have the yarn left, more yarn from these colors left, I'm going to, I think, go around the whole entire thing with like a granny stripe edging to make it a little bit larger, and and then I'll be finished with that. And then so what I'm going to do is finish that off, and then I will continue on with square number 36. I'm going to go through my stash, and I'll pick out another set of colors to use for my next blanket and continue on from there. So I hope you stick along with me and watch as I make all these squares. Okay, so now for more of that's really my finished object. Well, the finished object was the squares, not the blanket, but that's part of my WIPs, my works in progress. So as far as my other works in progress, I have I belong to a charity group here in my city that makes baby items and items for the homeless, shelters, and cancer patients, and different things like that. It's Aubrey's Angels Charity Crochet Group here on Facebook. Or this is YouTube, sorry, over on Facebook. Anyway, so I just got finished doing the preemie hat drive, and I was showing you my progress on my earlier videos of the preemie hats that I did, and it was a hat drive that we did for a local hospital here for the NICU babies to be given and to be worn on Halloween. And so I did, I think I got about a dozen made, and I turned them in. Oh, and a little update about that, the lady that I turned the hats over to and she delivered them, she sent me some pictures, 3 pictures of different babies that were actually wearing some of my hats that I had made, so that was sweet. If you remember, there was a fox hat that I made, and it was very small when I made it, and they had it on a little preemie baby, and it was so sweet to see that one. And the little hippo hat that I made, that one I saw with a baby wearing it, and I believe the minion hat that I made. In fact, they had a really great response to the hat donation, and they had enough that they were able to take some of them to one of the other hospitals and give them to them as well. So that was a real special thing, and made me feel good to see the babies wearing my hats. So anyway, so now that that's done, we're doing a baby blanket drive, and so now I'm going to be making some baby blankets. So here's my first one. Well, I've been working on it for a while. It is the octagon baby blanket pattern here on Ravelry, and I believe the website is woolcrafting.com, and I'm making it with Bernat Softy Baby yarn. It was just a baby pastel here, and then a yellow, and then you have a pink stripe that's ever so often. So it's growing larger. So there's that one. And then, you know, I finished this shawl. Last week I showed there was a knitted shawl that I had been working on for a while, and I finished. So I went and started another shawl. Another thing, you know, I was telling you before that it seems like I'm one of the last ones to try new things. Well, I finally bought myself some Lion brand, yes, mandala yarn, and I bought 2 different colors. This is the first one I bought. I bought 2 skeins of this one. It's called Spirit. Very pretty. And then I also bought, I have it put up. Sorry. Let's see. No, I have it put up. I can't reach it right now. But anyway, it's another one, and I believe it was called Sphinx. Yes. So anyway, what I'm doing with this yarn is I found another shawl pattern, and it calls for a sport weight or the number 3 weight yarn, which is this is what this yarn is. And so here it is. I just started it. It's called the, looking at my notes here, I can't pronounce it, Erigenia shawl, I guess you'd say. In fact, I saw a picture, I'll show it to you, of somebody that had used this very same colorway and made the shawl, and I thought it was super pretty. So I'll have a link to the pattern. It's a free pattern, and I believe it must have not been originally English. I think maybe it was a Dutch or German or something in that language. They translated it into English, but they also have a chart, and so I'm kind of going back and forth between the written instructions and the chart. Here's a picture of the shawl right there. I really like the border. I think that's really pretty. Okay, and then this is actually my first time, there's the chart, well, one of the charts, and it's my first time really following a chart, and I'm really not having any issues with it, so I'm glad of that. I know there's some charts that are like, especially if it's for something that's circular or something circular or square going around circles, that I think would be difficult a chart to follow. You have to get used to reading charts, but this one is really has been really easy. So following that, and it started out with kind of a charcoal color, but I'm barely beginning now at the bottom to turn into some of the blue. So it's kind of fun doing it because, you know, as you're wanting to make the progress to get to the next color when it starts changing. It's really a cool thing, I think. Anyway, so there's that, and my next work in progress is, let me show you, I always like to have a amigurumi project, a little stuffed animal project going, and I found this project on Ravelry, and the designer is Marina B, and it is a bunny in a hoodie. I think it's so cute. I like the way the hood has holes in it for the ears to stick out. I think that's really cute. Let's see if I can zoom up his face there. Really cute. And the yarn that I'm using is Karen Simply Soft, and I was just thinking it's just got a nice shine to it, and I think it'd be really cute for this type of pattern. And I'm using my little tote bag. This is the tote bag, one of the tote bags that I made, one of my first quilted ones that I made. And the yarn I'm using is Karen Simply Soft in the bone color for the rabbit, and I have the head done right here. And then 6mm safety eyes is what the pattern calls for. And then the little hoodie, I'm going to use this red. It's some yarn that somebody gave me, and I don't know if this red is still available. I can't even remember the name of it. I tried to find some of them. a lot of the skeins that I have has no ball band, but I think one of them might. I'd have to dig it. I'll look and see if I can find the color. I should tell you next time. And then I'm using a little white trim around the edges of the hood and the little bunny tail at the bottom of the back. So anyway, that's what I'm working on as far as an amigurumi project. And really, that's all my works in progress right now. I just have the 3. I'm sure I'll be starting one shortly. I always like to have amigurumi done on the go, so when I finish this, I'll go on to another one. And the shawl pattern, it's coming along really quickly, I think, pretty quick. And I know, though, of course, the bigger it gets, the more stitches, and it'll take me longer to get from one end to the other. I'm still waiting on the Cotton Flowers fingering weight yarn that I ordered off of Etsy. I'm hoping maybe, I know they told me that it would take a few weeks to get here because it's coming from Germany, but I already have a shawl pattern that I really want to make out of it, and so still anxiously waiting for that. And of course, when I finish this baby blanket, I'll go on to another one for the hat drive. Not hat, blanket drive. And some of the Christmas items will be in the works, I'm sure, for presents and things. Okay, so let's see, what else? I have a couple of shout outs I was wanting to let you know about. One of my one of the this YouTuber has found me and commented on some of my videos, and so I went to check her channel out, and she is Lee at totalee.net. Hi, Lee. I enjoy really looking at hers. I subscribed right back to her, and what she makes is she's a crocheter, and what she makes are I guess you'd say portrait panels or blankets, I guess, but she's very talented. She, I guess, scans or takes the portrait of a person, and she's been doing a series of like old movie stars, classic movie stars. She did a James Dean panel. She did Beatles, which was a very large panel, and the one she just finished is Cary Grant. Turned out so awesome. I mean, the dedication she has, because she, graphs out the picture, the photograph, and I'm sure she has software or something that kind of gives her the shades, and then she goes and she picks out and matches the shades of the in yarn, and then she makes the panels, and it's just really fun to see her projects as she finishes them up and she shows them. So check her out and see how you like her work. I think she does really impressive pictures, really. And so that is a new YouTuber, well, new to me, that I've been watching. And also, I'm sure probably most people on here know, but there's Hannah from Cozy Cottage Crochet, and I've been kind of binge watching her videos to catch up, and she makes she uses a lot of fingering weight yarn. And she makes garments. She makes sweaters, crocheted, and beautiful shawls. And she's kind of the one that's kind of inspired me to make some of these lacy looking shawls. And so I've really been enjoying her video. So go over and check her out if you haven't seen her videos. And let's see, that's about it, I guess. It's been a busy week. Just really busy, a lot of appointments and different things that we had to take care of this week. The weather, we have a few days of cool weather, and then now it's up almost 90 degrees again for a few days. So it's Texas, what can I tell you? So anyway, I'm hoping that you will come back next week. Please do, and see how I do and which ones of these projects I finish up, and what other projects I throw in there to show you. And please subscribe if you haven't. And I hope everybody has a great, awesome week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.